Hello, family. Take a deep breath, unclench your pearls, and maybe sit down for this one, because Valentine's season hasn't even officially started yet, and Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, has already gone ahead and done what the media swore she couldn't do. Again. Meghan's As Ever ex Comparte's chocolate collection has dropped. It's being described as a love letter in chocolate, and parts of the collection sold out within minutes. Minutes. Before the roses wilted, before the cards hit the shelves, before the tabloids even finished drafting their concerned think pieces. And just so we're clear right from the jump, because I know someone is already typing furiously, it is not Valentine's Day yet. This is Valentine's season, the runway before the main event, the warm-up act. And Meghan still managed to create demand so immediate that people barely had time to refresh their browsers before items were gone. That alone should tell you everything you need to know. But of course, instead of celebrating a successful lifestyle collaboration, we already know what's coming next. The minimizing, the nitpicking, the goalpost moving, and the classic, well, actually, brigade warming up in the comments. So let's talk about what actually happened here. Calmly, clearly, and with just a touch of side-eye where it's deserved. First of all, the concept. Calling this collection a love letter in chocolate is not just cute marketing language. It's intentional. A love letter implies thought, care, emotion, time spent crafting something meaningful rather than mass-producing something loud. This isn't novelty chocolate. This isn't gimmicky. This is about experience, sentiment, and connection, which, by the way, is exactly what Valentine's season is about. Notice how Meghan consistently leans into meaning rather than spectacle. No countdown clocks screaming at you, no chaotic hype campaigns, no look at me energy. Just a quiet, confident drop and let the audience decide. And they decided fast. Now let's talk about Compartes, because this partnership didn't happen by accident. Compartes is known for creativity, bold flavor combinations, visual artistry, and elevated chocolate making. This is not a random brand grab. This is alignment. This is taste meeting taste. And that matters, especially when critics love to pretend Meghan just slaps her name on anything and calls it a day. That narrative collapses the second you actually look at her collaborations. Every partnership Meghan enters reflects a very specific aesthetic: warmth, craftsmanship, intention, and yes, indulgence without apology. Because enjoying beautiful things is not frivolous, no matter how desperately some commentators want it to be. Now here's where things get interesting. The collection drops during Valentine's season, not on the day itself, which is actually smart. It allows anticipation to build, it gives people time to plan, it invites repeat engagement, and it makes the sellout even more telling because this wasn't last-minute panic buying. This was people watching, waiting, and ready. You don't sell out within minutes unless people were already paying attention. Let me say that again. Slowly, for the folks in the back writing their but limited quantities essays. You do not sell out immediately unless people were already paying attention. And that's the part the media never wants to grapple with, because the narrative has always been that Meghan is somehow unpopular, divisive, rejected, or overexposed. And yet every time she launches something on her own terms, the response tells a completely different story. The disconnect between the press narrative and real-world reaction is so wide at this point, you could drive a parade float through it. And yes, other editions are still available, which is exactly how a smart rollout works. No one promised infinite stock, no one claimed every single item vanished, but key parts of the collection moving that quickly? That's success, no matter how much someone tries to downplay it. Now let's talk about As Ever. That name matters. As Ever signals continuity. It's not a one-off. It's not a trend-chasing moment. It's a statement of consistency. Meghan isn't experimenting wildly or throwing things at the wall. She's building a world, a tone, a lifestyle rooted in warmth, care, and intentional living. And if that sounds soft to you, that's because it is. And softness is power. especially in a culture that thrives on outrage. This is Meghan operating in a space where she does not need to explain herself, where she does not need to respond to attacks, where she does not need to perform trauma to justify success. She's simply creating, and people are responding. That's why this bothers critics so much. They can handle Meghan being angry. They can handle Meghan being controversial. They can handle Meghan being framed as difficult. What they cannot handle is Meghan being calm, successful, joyful, and commercially supported without drama. Chocolate should be harmless, right? And yet, somehow, even this becomes a threat. Now, let's pause and appreciate the symbolism for a moment. Chocolate has always been associated with comfort, pleasure, affection, celebration. It's something you give when words aren't enough. It's associated with intimacy and care. Choosing chocolate, especially during Valentine season, is actually deeply on brand for Meghan's post-royal identity. This isn't about proving anything, it's about creating moments of joy. And the phrase, a love letter in chocolate, suggests something else too. This isn't about mass appeal. It's about resonance. It's about the people who see themselves in this softness, in this intentionality, in this idea that luxury doesn't have to be loud. Now, cue the usual reaction cycle. Step 1, question the sellout. Step 2, minimize the achievement. Step 3, suggest it's not a big deal. Step 4, write 5 articles about why it's allegedly not a big deal. Rinse, repeat. Because if Meghan truly didn't matter, they wouldn't cover it. If her projects truly failed, they wouldn't monitor them so closely. The obsession tells the story louder than any press release ever could. And let's not ignore the audience here. The people buying this collection aren't confused. They're not manipulated. They're choosing. They are actively opting into a brand that feels thoughtful, feminine, and grounded. That matters, especially when women-led, value-driven brands are still scrutinized more harshly than their male counterparts. This launch also highlights something else the media never likes to admit. Meghan understands timing. Valentine season is about emotion, about connection, about storytelling, and rather than centering herself, she centers the feeling. That's why the focus is on the product, not on headlines about her. She lets the work speak and the audience listens. And that's why we're here talking about chocolate selling out instead of some manufactured controversy. Now, is this the end of it? Of course not, because every successful Meghan moment is followed by a backlash cycle. Someone will accuse her of using Valentine's season. Someone will say it's overpriced. Someone will pretend this is somehow political. Someone will find a way to drag Prince Harry into it just to spice things up. But the facts remain unchanged. The collection dropped. The response was immediate, the demand was real, and Valentine's Day hasn't even arrived yet. That's the part that really sticks, because this wasn't peak season. This was the lead up, which means the interest isn't fading, it's building. And if this is how the launch phase looks, it's safe to say, as ever, is just getting started. So congratulations to Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, on yet another reminder that success doesn't need chaos to be valid, that softness can sell, that intention resonates, and that no amount of negative press can cancel genuine public support. And to those furiously refreshing the website while claiming not to care, we see you, as ever.